Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am Molinda Jae, and I'm here to do a continuation of the 30 lessons that I learned that turned into blessings. So let's get right on into it. So, the number 11 lesson that I learned is seeing the bigger picture and being open minded. Reason behind that is because when I went to Mexico, right? That was my first trip out of not out of the state, out of the country, and it was my first flight. And it was like I said, it was a lot of firsts, milestone first, going on this trip. And just from going on that trip itself by myself, but meeting people there along the way to celebrate someone, right? Um, I I started seeing things from a different perspective. Not to say that I have done so before, but this one was really prominent because while I was there with this group of people, I was seeing everybody just happy, enjoying life, celebrating weddings, anniversaries, birthday parties. I even got tickled when a bunch of kids, they couldn't be no more than my son's age, celebrating their birthday in Cancun. And I was like, you got kids here celebrating birthdays in Cancun, blowing out candles, getting a pool and stuff like that. And I was just excited. Like, it just bring joy to my spirit when I was there. Um and just the fact that literally all the stuff that I was going through at the time. And keep in mind, I was in my family and I were, especially my myself and my mother, we were literally in the house for 2 years straight. And of course, we took days going out and about and doing some, whether it was grocery shopping or just doing a little retail therapy in general. But as far as like going out on trips, that was very limited at the time due to the fact of us being caregivers at the time. So with me being on that trip, it just allowed me to see things to a whole nother perspective, because not only I'm dealing with a whole nother culture, but I was embracing what the things that I was unfolding in front of my eyes, people celebrating, like I said before, as well as people was just having fun in general. Like, it was, I mean, we seen a couple of fights here and there, but it wasn't that drastic. But other than that, the good outweighed the bad at the end of the day. And and that's why it's important to see things from another perspective and be open-minded, be receptive of what is unfolding between within your what is presenting yourself, because it is important that we don't be so stuck in the shell to where we lose sight on what it could possibly be behind that door once we step into it. So that is number 11 for the lesson. On to number 12 is live in the moment in the present, which continues on from seeing the bigger picture. Now is the time more than ever. If it does not become present to you now, later on down the line it probably will. But it isn't really important to live in the moment and be present as fully as possible, because you can miss one little thing, one small little thing. It could be simple as a sunset. It could be simple as a lizard just coming across your porch, or a black cat just chilling on your porch, just resting in peace, you know, and then they pick back up where they left off. It could just be simple as that, because you don't know, those can be omens that are showing, that's acknowledging you being there. You don't know if that could be a signal of something coming along the way. It's so because when you're stuck living in the past, it it blocks you from moving forward. It blocks you from being present at the moment because you're still in that daydreaming um memory, falling back into memory and nostalgic uh to a certain capacity, right? It prevents you from moving forward when you're stuck in the past, right? That's why the famous quote would say, don't let the past define you. And that's really true, because once you are stuck there and you don't find a way to navigate up out of there, whether it's good or bad, it can block your blessings. You don't know what blessings you will be blocking if you continue to live in the past or be stuck in that past energy. Same applies when you're so focused on being future goal oriented, type of speak, of 20 years down the line or 10 years down the line and stuff like that. It can prevent you from living in the moment. Yeah, when you're on a date and the person is asking, what is your goals? Well, what is your 10-year goal? What is your 20-year goal? And majority of the time, you will be able to tell them those goals. But at this point in life, I'm like, I'm just enjoying it now. How about the now? Because later on down the line, whenever we continue on these dates and we get into that point where we're able to court each other to where it's a courtship, and then on down the line when we get into a committed relationship, then we can talk about that. But other than that, if you're just dating, here, there, and everywhere around, that's not the time. In my opinion, that's not the time to be asking someone about what is your 10-year goal or your 20-year goal. I understand they ask, what is your 3-year goal, or what is your plans for the upcoming year or the next 2 years, 3 years minimum, 5 years max. But at the same time, things change and the unexpected can happen. And you just got to be ready to be able to either go through it or let it go. So that's why it's important to live in the moment and in the present, because there could be small little things that you could overlook because you're so focused on the future as well as you being stuck in the past. So that's the 12th lesson. The 13th lesson is to know your worth. Now, I've already did a video on this previously on knowing your worth, because people confuse knowing your worth or self-worth with material things, cars, clothes, the jewelry, and all those sorts of things, the latest technology, or your career, your job title. But people use that as their self-worth, and really it's not. It's really about your characteristics, your standards, and how you carry yourself, right, as an individual. Because as the saying goes, you want to treat others the way you want to be treated. But if you're treating yourself bad, you don't have that self-respect, you don't have that self-love, and you still trying to find yourself, you're going to tend to find that self-worth in other things, like the material things, the cars, clothes, the jewelry, and the person you're associated with, as well as your job and your career. You hide behind that. But what is your true self, right? What is you in the naked form? When you don't have those clothes, when you don't have those shoes, when you don't have that jewelry, what is you in the authentic birthday suit form? All right. So it's important to know your self-worth. Do not hide behind the material things, because just as much as it has been given to you, it could be taken away from you, okay, from a blinking of eye, whether it's from Mother Nature itself or an other unforeseen circumstance. Knock on wood on both of them. All right, so now it's time to know your self worth, accept yourself authentically and fully the way you are, right? Enjoy your unique self in all shapes or form, because um somebody out there loves you in that true authentic self, but you got to be willing and able to have some sense of self-worth and know that you're worthy of anything and everything that you deserve, that you feel like you deserve, okay, at the end of the day. All right, so moving right along to lesson number 14, which is follows through with the previous one, is treat others the way you want to be treated. How in the world other people can treat how in the world are you going to treat other people bad when you treat yourself bad, and vice versa? You give off the energy that they give you, vice versa. They can give you some off energy and you can respond with that same type of energy, because that's like ping pong mirroring effect, right? However, if you show some sort of compassion, even though that person is giving you that hard time, it can change their demeanor at the end of the day, because you're coming as a non-judgmental person and you're coming out of respect of compassion for a person, because why? You have that within yourself, right? So that's why I always live by that, besides my sacred mantra that's on my hoodie now, my cropped hoodie. But definitely by this one, treat others the way you want to be treated, because like the famous quote that RuPaul would say, if you can't love yourself, how the hell you gonna love somebody else? Think about it. I'm gonna let that sink in. Let that marinate for a moment for you, because it is true. I don't know where you're gonna treat somebody good when you're not treating your own self good. That's breaking giving and receiving one-on-one. That's breaking self-love one-on-one. That's breaking self-care one-on-one, right? Because you're not treating yourself good, but you treating everybody else good. You putting everybody else before you. If you can't get yourself together, how in the world are you going to give that same energy to someone else? So that's why it's important to fill your own cup first, in a loving, selfish manner, right? Not in a narcissistic, egotistic manner, but in a loving, healthy way. It's important to fill your cup first. Make sure you're good, right? That way you can pour some into someone else's cup that may be experiencing some self-doubt, some worry, right? So again, treat others the way you want to be treated, because that's an act of giving and receiving at the end of the day.